This program is brought to you by the following proud sponsors: the Alltech Media Group, the region's leading multimedia video production and marketing company, creating powerful and innovative marketing strategies that deliver exponential returns. And by California CEO Online Video Business Magazine, providing California's executives and regional leaders with economic development resources and regional branding solutions. And by StudioCast Pros, taking your web branding strategies to a new level by creating world-class online programs proven to engage audiences and enhance profits.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another 1 Million Cups from Riverside. Today I get the pleasure of introducing Ralph Richardson. He's one of the co-organizers here, and he wants to talk to you about Riverside IO. Ralph?
Thank you, Jay. How you doing? So today, about 2 years ago, there was a group of guys and ladies that got together and thought that we needed to have a co-working space here in Riverside. And so the name of that co-working space is Riverside IO. Today I want to share with you a little bit about it. So we're going to talk about three things. We're going to talk a little bit about what is co-working, talk a little bit about the Riverside IO culture, and last of all, just share with you a little bit about our mission. So what is co-working? Well, co-working is very simply a shared office space. It's a place for creatives, techies, developers and programmers, and entrepreneurs and business people to get together in the same space and come together and collaborate. And here's kind of what it looks like. Here is two individuals who didn't know each other maybe 6 months ago. Now they're working on a project together because they're in the same co-working space. So a little bit about the culture we're trying to develop. We launched Riverside IO about two and a half years ago, and we recently rebranded. And so as part of our rebranding process, we really thought about what type of culture we wanted to develop. And we really think of Riverside IO as 4 walls and a culture. You know, we are really just an office space where we bring people together. We're not trying to be an incubator per se, but we're a place where people can come together and organically, create relationships and come together. So I want to talk a little bit about that. So we're 4 walls and a culture. And one of the things that we thought was important is just conversation. And that comes through meetups and events and just coming together and working with each other every day. And here are some of the events that we have. We have about a dozen different meetup events that are going on at Riverside IO on a monthly basis. And last night there was the branding lab, and tonight there is a Ruby meetup group. Tomorrow night is Startup IE, so we're very active. We have lots of events and meetups going on. All right, so here's another important part of our culture, ping pong. And, really the emphasis here is we want to have a fun environment where, sometimes meetings happen over a game of ping pong. Sometimes it's the mayor who's here in this picture. Sometimes he will come by and play a game of ping pong with us. And here's Ashley playing with Manny, which is a UCR student. So it's a place where we can come and have fun and get to know each other. I think that's a part of it. We've got music, we've got airplay. So, during the day you have different people who maybe are streaming music. Music is part of our culture. And this is a really important thing, fresh ideas and startups. It's a place where when people come together, they can share ideas, and what we're hoping that will happen is people will collaborate or say, hey, I really like that idea, we'd like to work on it together. All right, and here just to share a couple of the ideas that are in the space. We've got Waylo, Maven, Tribal Wellness, Carrington Case. These are 4 of the startups in the space. Carrington Case is making some fabulous high-end cases for the iPad and the iPhone. You've got Waylo, which is designing an amazing app that allows individuals to figure out the wait times before they go to Disneyland or the DMV or to a restaurant. And then you've got Maven, which is a website development company who's developed a fantastic website for the city of Riverside. All right, so also it's a place to make connections. I talked a little bit about that already. And here's a picture of some connections being made. These are 5 guys that I've met that have I didn't know 2 years ago, who now I would say, many of them are going to be lifelong friends. All right, so it's a place to come and be inspired. And just inspirational story. Kevin Carrington, who is the president of Carrington Case, which we talked about earlier, he has an amazing sort of nonprofit organization where they get kids together from schools and they match them up with some developers and programmers. And in this picture, they actually launched some rockets with these kids from high school. So they went out, they launched a rocket, they went back to Riverside IO and taught them how to program a launch sequence, and then they went back out to the park and launched the rockets with the launch sequence. And the kids got introduced to programming and practical applications. So so that's sort of an inspirational story that's happened at Riverside IO. Very important, fast internet. We actually are now in our second space, and in our first space, the internet was not as fast as we would like. So in our new space, we went searching for fast internet, and it's had a huge effect. We've got a lot more people coming out as a result of that. So we think that's very important. And of course, it should be sort of a little bit of a home away from home to work with your friends and people that you're making connections with. And any home should have a couch. So of course we have a couch, which is sort of a place to kind of, have a siesta, take a nap, or in this case, grab your laptop and go to work. Good drinks, we keep a stocked fridge, and it's a place to expand your horizons and learn. We've had a few members who have become members of Riverside IO who had no development experience at all, and actually were able to learn how to become a developer and a programmer in that space by getting help from some of the other members in the meetup groups, and have since then gone off to get amazing jobs, in around California. So it's a place to dream about old tech and enjoy that, and dream about the new tech as well. It's also a place where we've kind of planted ourselves. We've put a flag in the ground. And one thing that we're excited about is that we've done that here in Riverside, which is an amazing city. We really love our location, and we're very excited to be in Riverside, hence the name Riverside IO, which actually stands for Input Output. All right, so you take all of those things and put them together. You have these 4 walls, and inside of those 4 walls is that input output that I talked about. And that input output is happening here in Riverside. So our tagline is just very simply connect, collaborate, and create. And what I'd like to do is share with you some pictures that really kind of speak to those 3 words. So here we are in our very first space. This is about maybe 2.5 years ago, about 2 years ago. And here are the guys coming together at our first location. And here's how it looked when we finished. So we were very excited to be in our very first 600 square foot co-working space. And here we have a meetup group going on. And here's games night, just everybody kind of hanging out, having a good time. Some of the original members. Here we are meeting with Waylo for the first time. And here is our work crew for our second space, which we move from a 500 square foot space into a 1,400 square foot space. And here we are having our grand opening with about 80 plus people. And here's the ribbon cutting with Greg Lee and the mayor and some of the members from Riverside IO. Here's our loft area. All right, so I just want to share, ultimately, what is our mission with Riverside IO? And very simply, it's community. We want to be 4 walls and that culture and a place where people can come together and connect in an organic way. And we want to build a tech startup community. And here's how that looks like. So it's a bit of an ecosystem. There are many pieces. We're just part of the solution. We recognize that. And so businesses and advisors like TriTech and Insocal Connect, students from UCR and La Sierra University and some of the other Cal Baptist, the other schools in the area, entrepreneurs, these tech meetups and events, connecting with our local government, and I'm sure there are some others that could be on here, but these are part of that ecosystem. And what we hope is that produces successful startups, and we feel like we're starting to see that. All right, so that's Riverside IO. I invite anyone who is watching this online to visit us on our website at riverside.io. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Ralph. And now we're going to ask some questions, but first of all, I have a question.
Sure.
And you said in the beginning, you said we're not an incubator, we're a co-working space. But on one of your almost last slides, you showed all these different factors going into a cloud, and then out of the bottom comes this startup community, which really seems to me to be kind of like an incubator, because you are incubating new companies. So what do you think is really the difference between what you're doing and what an incubator like Excite or some of the other incubators in the area are doing?
Okay, so what I'd like to say is we're a bit of maybe an organic incubator. So I think a traditional incubator will have more resources sort of in-house that are there on a regular basis. They'll have advisors. They may have they may have a program where they take an entrepreneur from sort of a starting point to an end point, and then they kind of graduate and move on.
Push them out
and push them out. They push them out of the nest. So we're a little bit more organic. So we'd like to think we have a lot of the same elements, but we're letting things happen in a little bit more organic fashion. So we try to make connections with, like you're an advisor for TriTech. So, it's great that you and Mark and some of the other advisors can come to our space and help the startups in our space, but you're not necessarily resident there on a daily basis with a specific program. So I think that makes us a little different, and I think I think having incubators are important, and we'd like to think that some of our startups may even move on to something like Excite when it's time. But our purpose is to be organic and focus on community. Yeah.
Great. And you started with a 600 square foot space. Now you went to 1,400. And from what I hear, you guys are thinking about growing again.
Yeah, so in the space that we're in now, our goal is to get to about 40 members. We think we'll reach that pretty soon. So we are exploring opportunities to expand. We're looking to work with other local businesses and other organizations to maybe make that possible. But we'd like to continue to grow.
Great. Questions from the audience?
Yes, I have one. And it kind of goes off of Jay's original question. So Riverside IO is all about organic growth and community. What is the benefit of that as opposed to the structure of an incubator? And what have you seen as the major benefits of that organic coming together as opposed to traditional incubator model?
Well, I think our focus is, one of the reasons that Riverside IO originated is because we wanted to have events and it was very difficult to find. A lot of those events happen in the evening, so it was very difficult to find a place where we can, start a meetup at 7. If you wanted to hang out till midnight, we could do that. So, one of the I think big success stories for Riverside IO is that we have a place to have meetup events, and whether it's Raspberry Pis or Ruby or Startup IE or branding events, they can come and pretty much meet and have that place for free. So, one of the reasons we started Riverside IO is just so that we could have a place to build community. We've kind of avoided maybe becoming an incubator because we wanted to have a place where it was a little bit more of had a little bit of organic feel to it, and there was really no pressure for there was no sort of, our success criteria was a little bit different, whereas an incubator, you need to have startups in your space. What we're saying is that if we have a space where people can come together and just meet and congregate and collaborate, maybe they'll actually form into companies that want to maybe go to an incubator. So we feel like we're a connecting place, a connecting point, and we kind of want to stay focused on that.
What have you seen anything that came out of it that you didn't expect to come out of your venture?
I would say yes. I think we expected for people to connect with each other and work together, but it's been very interesting to watch how that happens. And I think the other thing that maybe was a little bit unexpected is how the dynamics change as the membership changes. So like in the last month, for example, we've maybe had 5 or 6 new members join, and they bring a new type of energy and a new dynamic. And so as a group, we need to be very open to that change and allow it to, I like to think of Riverside IO as a continual startup. Like it's always kind of ebbing and flowing, and the people are really what affected the culture to some degree, right? So we need to kind of be open to that and not necessarily always say, well, we want it to be this way. We kind of have to just let it be organic, right? So that's something I think is maybe a little bit of a mental adjustment sometimes for our membership and for the leadership, and allowing it to kind of do its own thing. But I think most of us are enjoying that process.
So you have an actual membership process that someone go to?
So anyone can be a member. You just go online. It's $100 a month. I didn't mention that, which is we think very reasonable, and become a member. And then our organizational structures, we have like a 7-member board, and we meet like once a month, and just to kind of keep things running. But the members actually, all of our meetings are open to the members, and as well as the general public. So we really want to sort of be transparent and open, and allow people who are members to have some input on kind of what we're doing. So.
Would you say there's an ideal size for this sort of thing? I mean, I imagine the culture changes as the group gets larger and you get more members. So the city of Riverside has quite a few people that are interested in technology and such, but I imagine if you were to double in size, again, the feel of your place might change, even if you did get a larger place.
Mm-hmm. So, and I think that's okay. I think we should be open to whatever change is coming, right? I think we should not, I think one of the things we're trying to do by saying we're organic is not be rigid. So as if we were to grow to 80 people, I think the culture would change. I think we would need to maybe, adjust for that. But I think we're open to that. We kind of want to let that happen and kind of see where it goes. But ultimately, I think, like I said, our purpose is to connect people and bring them together. So, we have to kind of remain open to whatever that brings. So we'd be excited to have 80 members, and that would be fantastic, actually.
You've talked about college students as well as people from industry. Are you also thinking perhaps high school students, or is that not in the range that you're looking?
Yeah, we definitely want to connect with high school students. I think Kevin, actually from Carrington Case, that's one of his passions. So actually, we want to reach out as well to some of the elementary students. So I know we have some event. Well, he's planning some events where the kids will come in as I'd say 8-year-olds and above, and they'll learn how to program using Scratch, which would be cool. And then the high school students, they'll be doing more programming related events like the rocket launching event they had. So he's gonna have more events like that. And so we kind of see ourselves as very simply this space, and then the members kind of have these events in the space. And so Carrington Case and his organization are actually doing a lot of that outreach to both the high school students and elementary kids, right? And we definitely would continue to encourage that.
Do you see the brand extending beyond the space at all? I imagine there are some things that, especially as you start to get into perhaps higher membership and maybe scheduling conflicts with the space, do you possibly see some things that are Riverside IO branded other places within the city?
Well, we're definitely looking to expand. Like one of the things we're looking at in our building is moving into some additional space next door. We're hopeful that that can happen, and we'd like maybe in 2015 to have more space to accommodate more things. We've also been asked by 1 or 2 other cities to maybe expand the IO brand into those areas. That's something that at least there's conversations that are happening around that. But right now we're mostly focusing on just having a presence in Riverside. I think we're still very young, and we're still kind of feeling many things out and kind of seeing where this kind of journey takes us. But we try to be open to new ideas and I guess partnership opportunities.
So it seems to me, Ralph, that when you think of an incubator, you think of almost a top-down structure where there's people running the incubator and they're making decisions, whereas yours is more a bottom-up, where your members are really the leaders, and your board is really nothing more than somebody has to write the checks or take care of business, but that's really all you're doing on behalf of the base, which is the membership.
Right.
So I see that as a fundamental difference between, say, a structured incubator or accelerator approach versus a working community that is sitting within 4 walls. So I guess the biggest question that I have to ask of you right now is what could the 1 Million Cups community do for you and Riverside IO?
Well, we'd like you to tell people about what we're doing. There are a lot of entrepreneurs who are maybe still working out of coffee shops or from home who really don't know about us yet. And it's amazing, people come through the door and they said, wow, I found you online, or somebody told me about you and I didn't know you were here. So even though we've been around for 2 years, I think we're still new. I think a lot of people don't know about us.
Where are you located?
So we're located on Market Street in downtown Riverside, right behind City Hall.
Okay, so on Market Street, I think the address is 3976?
3976 Market Street.
So it's between 10th
and 9th Street.
9th Street. So I've been to many of the events. I love going to the meetup events there because they're very loose and informal. You can walk in right in the middle, you can leave early, they don't care, and it's really a very good vibe in there. And so, I love being part of it, and I wish it was closer to where I live so I was there more often, but I get up there as often as I can. I really invite everyone down to Riverside IO and see what you're cooking.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
This program was brought to you by the following proud sponsors: the Alltech Media Group, the region's leading multimedia video production and marketing company, creating powerful and innovative marketing strategies that deliver exponential returns. And by California CEO Online Video Business Magazine, providing California's executives and regional leaders with economic development resources and regional branding solutions. And by StudioCast Pros, taking your web branding strategies to a new level by creating world-class online programs proven to engage audiences and enhance profits.